Eastern Conference has really been cut down to 5 teams. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, one of those 5 teams are the New York Knicks. And one of the main reasons why right now the Knicks are a 5th seed, possibly going to be a 4th seed, is because of one player. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson has had a fantastic season. He should have been an all-star, one of the elite point guards in the league. Yes, you heard it from me. One of the elite point guards in the NBA. He's been out for the last couple of weeks, and now he could be back this weekend against the Nuggets, the NBA's best Denver Nuggets, who's not playing very well right now, have been in a little bit of a soft spot. But the New York Knicks right now, they're playing pretty good basketball. The New York Knicks are 3.5 behind the Cleveland Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell and company have been on and off really since the All-Star break. They have not been the same team they were in the first half of the season. So you look at Jalen Brunson and Mr. Bricklayer himself, Julius Randle, and R.J. Barrett. This team has the ability, especially with possibly 6th Man of the Year, Emmanuel Quigley, to really make a run this year in the playoffs. The 4th seed is sitting there. Now, I don't know if they're going to get the 4th seed, but being that if they could sit at the 5th seed and go into the playoffs as the 5th seed, they're put in a very good position. They will be matched up against the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Knicks have played very, very well on the road this year, so I'm very excited to see what Jalen Brunson is when he comes back from this injury, and I want to see what this team is when he's in the lineup. They have played well without him, but with him, it could change everything. You're getting back your star point guard, your player, your captain, your leader on the court. So if you're a New York Knicks fan, you should be very, very excited that Jalen Brunson is back this weekend.
And they were able to weather the storm somewhat. I know you definitely wanted to see them try to gain some more ground on the Cavs. I think when Jalen Brunson got hurt, the Knicks were just a game back of the Cavs. 4-3 in the stretch without Jalen Brunson, you could live with. I mean, the Hornets' loss is definitely not ideal, being they're one of the worst teams in the NBA. But losing to Sacramento, losing to the LA Clippers, I mean, you can't really say those are bad losses. And they also beat the Boston Celtics. That was Emmanuel Quigley's coming out party. The Lakers, yeah, they're not a great team, but they beat Miami even in that game when Jalen Brunson got hurt, who were fighting for that 6th spot in the Eastern Conference, so they don't have to be a play-in team. So those are still some good wins within that. And now we'll see how they take on Denver. They take on Minnesota after that. And a lot of tough schedule ahead. Twice with Miami, then they got Cleveland again. Then it gets a little easier. They got the Pacers and the Pelicans to finish the season. So the Knicks still got a shot if Jalen Brunson comes back and stays healthy the rest of the year to still get that 4th seed.
The Knicks are playing very good basketball, and the only team that they really have to worry about behind them is Miami. I'm not worried about Brooklyn. I'm not worried about Atlanta or Toronto or Chicago. It's really just Miami, and the Knicks right now are about 3.5 ahead of the Miami Heat. So unless a catastrophic collapse for the New York Knicks, I can't see the Knicks losing that 5th spot. Now, the New York Knicks are 3.5 behind the Cleveland Cavaliers right now. They have a chance to get that 4th seed. They have to keep winning, and they have to hope that Cleveland get into a little rough patch. But I love what I see with the Knicks. I love what I've seen all season long with Jalen Brunson when he is in that lineup. Hart has been a fantastic pickup at the trade deadline. They're doing everything possible to keep within the game, especially defensively. They're one of the top 10 defensive teams in the league, and they've become one of the top 10 offensive teams in the league. So if you look at Tom Thibodeau and you look what Tom Thibodeau has done this year, maybe it's not Tom Thibodeau. Maybe it is Jalen Brunson. Just the fact that this team is playing at the level that they're playing right now, you should be very excited as a New York Knicks fan.
And you want to be able to keep everybody healthy down the stretch, too. I'm not as actually worried about them holding the 5 or the 6 seed anyway, because I think they could beat the 76ers in the playoffs, too, if they matched up with them as well. Cleveland, actually, with the size they have inside against this team, besides Mitchell Robinson, that doesn't have a lot of size, might even be a tougher matchup for them, too. Now, Joel Embiid is obviously the best center, true center in the NBA. Nikola Jokic is the MVP of the league, and he's the best big man, fine. But for true center skills, Embiid has a lot of them. But the Sixers are not overly deep besides that, like the Cavs have with Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley, and even some of the guys they have off the bench. So even if the Knicks fall past Miami, as long as they don't end up being the 7th seed, which I don't see being a big deal, that shouldn't be a big deal, but I still would like them to be able to push for that 4 seed as well, because home court does still matter in the NBA playoffs. I know the Knicks are a better road team, but it is tough for those lower seeds to usually advance down the road in the NBA playoffs.